Let me change your way of thinking about patience and let me show you what patience is really about. Many people talk about being patient as a good habit and that if you are more patient nowadays, that you will have a better life or something like this. But many people do not understand how difficult it can be, especially in very stressful situations. And most of the time, when we are in these stressful situations, it can be very hard to stay patient. And I will talk to you today how to get over this and how to be more calm in some stressful situations and how to make patience your number one game changer for being a stoic person in the end. And first thing you need to understand is that patience is a choice. So in the end, no matter how you are feeling, you can still choose to be more patient than you might were before. And it's most of the time it's very actively about staying calm than letting the moment overwhelm you. And if you think about any situation where you maybe not been that calm that you might want it to be, or where you acted very stressful, where your mind was very stressed about some event or about some situation in your life, in each of these moments you can choose by yourself or for yourself to still stay calm and being patient. And this is the first thing you need to realize, that you can choose yourself and take the responsibility for yourself to still staying and being calm. And this is very important. Because if you do not take the responsibility for yourself, then you will find yourself in exactly these situations I described before. And one very important thing, which is leading to being not patient and not calm in any kind of situation, is most of the time that you have high expectations. And impatience is often rising when something is not going the way you picture it in your head. And this is especially very important if you have some kind of long-term goals or long-term things you want to achieve, long-term things you want to change in your life. And the impatience is often rising when we want everything to go the way we want it to go immediately. And most of the time, and I was about to say all of the time, but I changed it to most of the time because sometimes it can be that way, but I would not want to focus about that. Most of the time, it will not happen immediately. And if you think about these long-term goals, which might pop in your head right now, the first very common thing you could think about is, for example, getting in shape or losing weight. And when you think about this topic, if you want to change something about your body, the impatient is not coming on the first day. On the first day, you might think, okay, I want to change something about my body. I want to prioritize health more and get more healthy. And you realize that you want to change something. And on the first day, you might go to the gym or you might go for a run and maybe have a good diet on that day. And maybe you do the same on the second and on the third day. And on the fourth day in the morning, you wake up and you go in front of the mirror and you ask yourself, okay, what really changed? Because when you look in the mirror on the fourth day, you will still look pretty much the same. You will not lose like 2 kilograms in these 3 days, and you will not be very more muscular, and you will easily look the same as before. And this is because the time of the things has its own rhythm, and we humans in our heads are thinking very, very in advance to that. So as I said, you need to let go of the expectations, because the impatience is just coming from these expectations you have. Because we, as humans, we think, okay, we work out, we diet good, and this leads to a good body. But it's not that simple. It is mainly these things, but you need to do them over and over and over again, over weeks and months and years. And only if you do that, you will achieve what you want as your goal. And this is not only particularly for like body-related goals. This can also be for business-related goals or for relationship-related goals. If you want to find your future wife or future girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, it will be definitely more easy if you meet more people than if you just meet one people and try to make her your wife. Maybe you don't fit together, or maybe she has some issues which you don't like, and this can lead to a frustration in this relationship, for example. So it would be better to find another partner. And it's exactly the same with the body, the example we talked about the whole time. And you need to let go of the expectation, because the first results you will really see when you focus and you prioritize your health, you will probably see in the first 2 weeks or after the first 2 weeks. And especially in the first week or slightly after the first week, when you don't see that much results, but every workout feels very, very hard for you, it can be very frustrating. And I totally get that, and it's totally understandable that it's frustrating for you, because you have such a high goal, such an important goal for you maybe, or a status in your life which is making you unhappy, and you start feeling the frustration on top after you changed something in your life and it's not changing you and your body. And patience is exactly about still feeling these frustrations, about being patient enough to keep going with the things you know will help you overcome it. Because if you're still being the impatient person, and after your third workout on the 5th day maybe, you will start thinking, oh, this is all not going the way I want, and everything I do is not really helpful and is not really going the way I wanted to go. And then you start falling into your old habits again. And you start eating sweets or ordering fast food or skipping the gym 2, 3, 4 times. And then you are exactly in the same place you've been before. And you see what impatience is leading you to. But being patient, as we said earlier, is an active choice. You can actively choose to still be patient, to still be disciplined enough to overcome these frustration and to still stick to your new habits as long as you or until you see the results. And then at some point you start noticing results and it might feel a bit better for you, but there will be a point where you are not satisfied with these achievements anymore. Do you understand? There will be a point where after like 3-4 weeks you lost your first couple kilograms, and after that you will not really be satisfied with the first couple kilograms anymore. And you will think, okay, now I want to look more muscular. And then the whole thing starts over from the start again. Because you still need to be patient at that point, to not be frustrated by the point that you are not as muscular as you want to be right now. But thinking you should be because of the habits you optimized over the last few weeks or days. But as I said, to achieve long-term goals, you need to execute these new, better habits over and over again, and not only for days and weeks. You need to execute them for months and years. And in the end, you will feel better with them. But only the impatient is coming in the beginning and in the first, second, third phase. But if you stick to your habits for long enough, you will definitely feel better. And instead of reacting differently as you are supposed to be, and maybe don't stick to your diet anymore, ordering fast food or whatever, you should try to implement to take a very deep breath. Just like breathe in and breathe out. And in this moment of 4 or 5 seconds, you should come to the conclusion that reacting impatient now will not lead you to your long-term goals, and instead pulling you away from them again. And you should definitely stop that and definitely not do that. And I totally get if this is maybe the hardest part for you, because also for me it's one of the hardest parts. I'm not very obese. I would say that I am quite a normal looking person, and I am okay fit, but I'm not very, very muscular. I'm not very, very healthy, and I also have long-term goals. I want to do an Ironman one day, and these very, very high goals sometimes seem so far away that I tell myself, okay, one more meal at McDonald's won't be so bad. And in these moments, I also need to be very, very more patient and think long term. Because if I tell myself once a week, well, one more McDonald's meal is not hurting me, then I will just keep eating McDonald's over and over and over. And every week I will go to McDonald's one more time. And then there's not the point where I'm getting closer to my long-term goals. And this is the thing we all want to achieve, right? The patience we develop over time wants to be used. And we want to see it pay off. And it only pays off if we stick to it and keep our long-term goals to it and see them achieving something. Like my patient is always falling off once a week, for example, in that example when I'm going to McDonald's or something. And I'm starting over and over at zero every time. And I don't want to say that there is nothing against eating McDonald's maybe once a month or every now and then. But if you do it over and over again, multiple times a week, for example, you will not make the progress you want to make in these things maybe. And this is very important to understand for me personally. And I know that I do not understand enough right now. But I think with this perspective, I can help many of you guys. And you should still, if you are in a situation right now where you feel you are not patient enough most of the time, you should try to not judge yourself too much. Because when you are impatient, like for example me, every time I go to McDonald's, it's part of a learning process. And when you actively feel bad for yourself while doing this and while being impatient on your long-term goals, you will next time be more likely to overcome the rush of impatience, and you want to develop a bad habit again. You will overcome this feeling by the realization, okay, last time it didn't help me that much, and it actually didn't even feel good to eat McDonald's, because the first bite is very, very dopamine hitting, and latest after the third bite, you feel like shit, and you don't even like the food. So you need to see it as a learning process, and you need to see the small progress you make every day, because also the first workout and the second one even more important, and the third one is very important too, and even the first small progress, losing your first kilo or your first few pounds when you're from America, your patience will grow from each moment you choose to stick with it. Every time you choose to be more patient, you will grow from it, and it will feel a bit easier the next time. But you will also have setbacks all of the time. And a setback can also be like just not sticking to your patient immediately. It can also be that you just forget to stick to it for a few minutes, and maybe you want to be a better runner, and you have a running training plan, and you have in your plan that you need to go on a run today for 10 kilometers. And then you plan your day and you say, okay, I want to wake up at 8, and then I need to go to work till 5 p.m, blah, blah, blah. And then I want to go on a run on 6 p.m. And a little setback can definitely be that you don't directly go for a run at 6 p.m. and you sit on your couch at 6:10 and see the clock and just think, well, what am I going to do right now? Am I still going to run? Or is now my completely day plan, is it over? And just the feeling of losing these 10 minutes can be a setback, but in this case, you can still use this setback and doing what you wanted to do and what you were supposed to do anyway. And this is a very, very important moment for you, because in this situation, no matter how bad the day was or the situation you've been in was, you can still make the best out of it. And if you still have the goal to make the best out of it, in this case, you will still go on a run at 6:10 or even at 6:30. And maybe you will have a bit less time to make yourself a dinner after that. Or you will lose half an hour sleep after that. Or you will lose half an hour of entertainment, which you planned for after the run. But you still went closer to your long-term goals. And this is the most important thing. That the reward is in the process. And with mastering patience, in this kind I explained to you right now, it's the best reward you can have. And every time I master my patient one little step more, it's a way better success story for myself than anything I would instead have done with my time. And I hope you learned something from it. Bye bye.